What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and you're probably asking yourself right now, hey, TTP, what are you doing here? The final game of this Phillies Brave series isn't even over yet. They're not over yet. So technically, you can't classify it as a series split because the game's not over yet. Oh, I hate to break it to you. The Phillies are currently losing 10-4 going into the bottom of the seventh inning right now. And yes, Kyle Schwarber did just hit a two-run bomb to make it a 10-4 ball game, but overall, I do not think the Phillies are going to come back into this game. That's just way too much or way too big of a deficit to even come back from. They were down, 7-0 at one point, down 10-2. It's just way too many, big wide margin of a lead from them to come back from in that short of a span. Yes, it's baseball. Yes, anything could happen. But when I look at just this specific game in general, I looked at the pitching matchup. It was Dylan Covey going up against Spencer Strider. I think all of us probably should have predicted what it was going to be like from the get-go. Dylan Covey obviously does not get out of the first inning, allows a lot of runs to score, and I mean a lot of runs. 7 runs for the Braves there in the first inning. The guys that came out of the bullpen did a decent enough job, but Connor Brogdon allowed 3 runs in his 6th inning of work. Great. Granted, like I said, we're still going through this ball game, so yes, anything could happen. But basically, I'm just ruling this as a loss. The Phillies, it's just too big of a lead for them to come back from, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to classify this series as a split, knowing my ass when this stream is over, the Phillies will probably be leading 15-10. That is my luck. But we're going to run with it. We're going to roll with it. And if that's the case, I'll just delete this stream and we'll redo it again like nothing happened. So, yes, that'll be the work. But the more thing I really want to focus on, forget this game. Forget the final game of the series. Like I said, you should have known what was going to happen when Dylan Covey was on the mound going up against Spencer Strider. It wasn't going to end pretty. It just wasn't. I wasn't expecting Dylan Covey to go out there and shut down the Braves lineup. It just wasn't going to happen. It really just wasn't. So I really want to focus on what I saw from yesterday because the last time we spoke, it was Friday after the Phillies won that ball game. Taijuan Walker on the mound, everything like that. Craig Kimbrell getting his 400 career save. So it was a 1-1 series before, the last time we talked. So let's get into more of last night's ball game because yesterday's ball game was really entertaining. We basically saw probably the best starting pitching performance we've seen so far this year from a Phillies starter, and that was from Zack Wheeler. The man was absolutely dominant and electric yesterday. It was just a nice breath of fresh air in a game which you really needed to win, in a game which you really needed a guy like Zack Wheeler to go deep into the ball game and just show us that he's still, the ace of your staff and can at least give us some hope down the road that he's going to find a way to figure out of this little, funk that he and the rest of the pitchers have been in. You see Aaron Nola in game 1 not do anything. Then you see Taijuan Walker have a solid performance on Friday. And then you see Zack Wheeler, what he did yesterday. It gives me more confidence for Zack Wheeler more than not. I was probably more confident at Zack Wheeler probably than anyone in the rotation so far with figuring it out because I just think his stuff doesn't look bad and all that. I do look at his sabermetrics and all that stuff, Baseball Savant, and a lot of the stuff on Baseball Savant is really good for Zack Wheeler, so it was eventually going to be he was going to turn a corner. So I think yesterday, hopefully, because I can be proven wrong because this Phillies team has done that to a lot of us this year, many times than you can count. Yesterday, for Zack Wheeler, 8 innings, 12 strikeouts, pure dominance. You probably could have even argued if you would have went out there for the 9th inning just to finish the complete game, but Craig Kimbrell goes out there and gets the save. Yes, he does allow a home run, but at the end of the day, no damage done there, and the Phillies found a way to win the second game of a second game in this series to at least guarantee a split, and that's most likely the case that is going to happen. The Braves have a man on second base, Matt Olson on the mound, Vasquez is on the mound for the Phillies. So, yeah. Zack Wheeler was just flat out fantastic yesterday. You also went up against Charlie Morton. And the one thing I'll say for yesterday offensively, you did leave which was making me just a little bit queasy, just a little bit nervous. You were letting a lot of opportunities squander. Charlie Morton, in like certain parts of the game, in certain innings, he was just losing his command, walking a lot of guys, letting a lot of guys get on, and you just had a lot of chances with runners in scoring position that you weren't able to cash in on. You did get 2 runs in the ball game, and granted, that was thanks to, Bryce Stott and Trey Turner, which really helped you out there. But overall, it's just the fact that you let a lot of opportunities squander, and that's the one thing that really did worry me. So if we look at yesterday's ball game, it was really quiet from the beginning on. A lot of 1, 2, 3 innings. Some guys get on. You really don't do anything there. Top of the 3rd inning, the Phillies got a couple of runners on. Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Bryce Stott. They get the bases loaded there. 2 outs for Nick Castellanos, and he probably puts up the worst at bat that I would see with the bases loaded. Wheeler gets into a little bit of a jam in the 3rd. Nothing done there. It doesn't until the top of the 5th inning when the Phillies strike first for the first runs of the game. Brandon Marsh leads off with a single. Cody Clemens, out of all people, doubles to get a 2nd and 3rd opportunity for Bryce Stott. He puts the ball in play, deep left field, sacrifice fly. A run comes home, and Cody Clemens, being very aggressive on the base paths, he takes 3rd base on that sacrifice fly. And then Trey Turner, he doubles down the right field line, scores another run. The last run of the ball game for the Phillies, it became a 2-0 lead there. Phillies did get more runners on base. Bryce Harper was intentionally walked. Kyle Schwarber walks, so you get bases loaded once again with 2 outs, and nothing happens. JT pops up on, I believe it was on a 3-1 count. So it was a hitter's count, and JT did absolutely nothing with it. Zack Wheeler got a shutdown inning after the Phillies scored, which was nice to see. Top of the 6th, Phillies got a couple of more base runners on. Alec Bohm single, Cody Clemens single. Nothing going on there as the Braves just put another run on the board. It is 11-4, so I really do think that this seals off the ball game. There's going to be no comeback for the Phillies. This is going to be a split series, split 4-gamer. I'm content with it. I definitely am. I would have loved to see, a 3 out of 4 series win. Thanks, Aaron Nola. Because really, if Aaron Nola won on Thursday, we probably would have had a series win under our belts. But, Aaron Nola did Aaron Nola things and sucked, where you take the series split. You focus on the positives, mainly Zack Wheeler, and some timely hitting, and you move forward to the New York Mets after Memorial Day. And it kind of feels weird that you're not playing on Memorial Day. It's very weird. I don't know why. It just is. Phillies... It just doesn't feel right when every team in Major League Baseball is not playing on Memorial Day. It just feels like that should be a day where all 30-plus teams play. It just does. It feels like that. So, top of the 6th inning, Phillies don't do anything there. Bottom of the 6th, after a 2-out double by Riley, nothing happens. Top of the 7th inning for the Phillies, Castellanos gets a double. Schwarber walks, so you get 1st and 2nd for JT. He strikes out. This is when the bullpen comes in for the Braves. And then Bohm flies out, so nothing going on there with runners in scoring position again. Wheeler, another shutdown, bottom of the 7th inning after a 2-out walk. Top of the 8th, Phillies go down 1, 2, 3. Bottom of the 8th, Braves go down 1, 2, 3. 2 strikeout there for Zack Wheeler. That'll be the night for him. He was absolutely fantastic. Phillies don't do anything in the top of the 9th. In comes Craig Kimbrell to get another save 2 days in a row there. Gets the 1st out in Austin Riley. Then he battles with Sean Murphy for a little bit, but on a 3-2 count, he does allow a home run. That was barely just a wall scraper, so Braves cut the lead in half. It's 2-1. But then Craig Kimbrell buckles down, strikes out Marcell Ozuna, who completely did not want any part of that at bat. Strikes out on 3 pitches, and then he gets Eddie Rosario to strike out. Craig Kimbrell buckled down, throw some nasty pitches, basically only threw 1 ball after the home run, 6 strikes, 2 strikeouts to finish off the ball game, and the Phillies got themselves a 2-1 victory in Game 3 of this 4-game set, basically guaranteeing the series split. And like I said, I'm going to focus on the positives. That is all that I'm going to focus on here. Looking at the pitching staff-wise, from yesterday, Zack Wheeler, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts on 106 pitches. Drops his ERA all the way down to 3.6. That is a huge drop there, which is very good, and I just really need this to be a step in the right direction for Zack Wheeler. This is his best start of the season, and I really want him to build on this going forward, and overall, for the pitching staff, this is the best performance we've seen from a starting pitcher this year. it's a day away from Memorial Day, and it's taken this long to see this type of performance from a starting pitcher. Yeah, we've seen a couple of 7-inning performances. We saw Aaron Nola's dominance against the Houston Astros during that series, but we really haven't seen consistent something like this. This is what I want to see. I want to see this night in and night out. Yeah, you're going to have your off nights. What player doesn't? But I want to see this more consistently from guys like Wheeler, like Nola. And Taijuan Walker, yes, he's been more consistent, more better as of late. So hopefully he's going to stretch together some consistency. And you really need to get Ranger Suarez out of the funk that he's in. But it also just kind of looks like that he's, was called up a little bit too early from his injury. And he's clearly not looking like he's fully ready yet. But that's the case that you're in when everyone in your starting rotation was injured. And you don't have enough depth to, surplus that. And right now, you're desperately in need of a fifth starter because obviously Dylan Covey was never going to be the answer. In my opinion, they're just probably trying to buy some time before one of these other guys down in AA or AAA could get called up. Someone like a Griff McGarry. I feel like that's the guy that's most likely going to get the call up. I don't think Mick Abel's ready. Christopher Sanchez, he's really struggling down there in AAA. Plasmeyer as well. All these other pitchers that they can call up for depth purposes, they're not pitching good. Nick Nelson got injured again, so he's a little bit longer on the timetable for coming back once again. So that's lack of depth for your bullpen. And lack of a guy that can go, give you a couple of innings when you need it and eat some innings up. So that's definitely a loss there. Like I said, I do think they're buying time for someone like Griff McGarry to get called up. So it's basically just, we're probably going to, maul our eyes out a little bit watching, some of these starts for this fifth starter. I would even throw out Matt Strom for a spot start during those days, but I understand not wanting to overuse Matt Strom because of his innings over the past couple of seasons, because he's never been a starter for a while. He's mainly been a bullpen guy. So I understand that from Rob Thompson, but it's just right now when you're throwing just no names out there and random dudes out every fifth day, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work at all. So, and seriously, if you're just looking at what Kobe did today, yeah, he had a nice outing against the Diamondbacks. Okay, he had a nice outing. He's not going to do that. His career numbers tell you that otherwise. He's not going to be good. He's never been a good pitcher his entire career in Major League Baseball. Kobe, he only got 2 outs in the first inning. 6 hits, 7 runs, 5 of them earned, 2 home runs allowed to Austin Riley and Matt Olson on 30 pitches. Wasn't good. Yes, the Phillies defense was also putrid today. I believe Trey Turner had a couple of errors. Edmundo Sosa misplaying a ball. Bryson Stott misplaying a couple of balls. It was just all around not a good game. This is just not a good game for your Phillies overall. And you probably should have expected that when Kobe on the mound. It probably should be. Then you look at the rest of the guys that come out and got some work done. Hoffman pitched 2 innings, allowed 4 hits, struck out 1 on 41 pitches. Marte comes in. He got into a little bit of a jam, I believe, bases loaded, but he got it out of that situation. 2 hits, 1 strikeout on 27 pitches. Brogdon was not good. 3 hits, 3 earned runs, and one of those was a 2-run shot from Matt Olson. Matt Strom came in, pitched an inning, allowed 2 hits, 24 pitches, and Vasquez just finished up his bottom of the 7th with allowing 1 run on 1 hit on 19 pitches. So that's basically the job done there. If we look at the bats from yesterday's ball game from Zack Wheeler's performance, Bryson Stott went 1 for 4 with an RBI. Trey Turner went 2 for 5 with an RBI. So hopefully that's moving in the right direction, but I don't believe Trey Turner has had a hit today. Yeah, Trey Turner has not had a hit today, so who knows? Bryce Harper yesterday, he was 0 for 3, but he also had 2 walks put in there. Nick Castellanos 2 for 4. Kyle Schwarber 0 for 3 with 2 walks. JT Realmuto 0 for 4. Alec Boehm 1 for 4. He wasn't playing today because I believe he had some type of hamstring tightness, I believe it was, for Alec Boehm. So he's going to rest for a couple of days. Rob Thompson did say he should be good to go for the Mets series. So we'll see. We'll see. Brandon Marsh 1 for 4. Brandon Marsh also had a home run in today's game. Cody Clemens yesterday went 2 for 4. Phillies overall went 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position and left 12 runners on base. Zack Wheeler basically just dominated the entire damn game. Only 4 hits for the Braves, 2 of those from Murphy, 1 of those from Riley, and 1 of those from Ronald Acuna Jr. Looking at today's game so far, in the top of the 8th inning, I believe Bryce Harper just got out and the Braves are making a pitching change. No, actually, they're going to the bottom of the 8th inning. So I am wrong about that. Looking at the Phillies lineup so far, Bryson Stott went 1 for 4. He had a double in today's game. Trey Turner's 0 for 4. Bryce Harper's 0 for 4. Nick Castellanos 1 for 3. He's going to get another at bat in the top of the ninth. Kyle Schwarber is 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. He had a solo shot, he had a 2-run shot actually in the game. He also got robbed of a home run, so he probably could have had 2 home runs in this game. Michael Harris robbed him in center field. JT Realmuto is 0 for 2 with a walk. Cody Clemens is 0 for 2 with a walk. Brandon Marsh is 2 for 3 with a 2-run shot. Edmundo Sosa is 0 for 3. Overall, Phillies have not had many chances with runners in scoring position today. 1 for 3 with 2 runners left on base. And like I said, you saw the pitching. Ronald Acuna Jr., he is 4 for 5 in this game. He was definitely due to go off in this series. The Phillies have really kept him quiet all series long. He was due for a breakout game. 4 for 5, 3 RBIs. Matt Olson, 3 for 5, 4 RBIs, 2 home runs in this game. Austin Riley, 2 for 5 with a home run. Sean Murphy, 3 for 5. Ozuna, 1 for 4. Rosario, 2 for 4. Albies, 1 for 2. Arcia, 1 for 4. Harris, 1 for 3. So everyone in the Braves lineup has done damage. They have 18 hits in this game. This game's over. This game's over. If anyone wants to say, oh, Phillies are coming back, watch out for a comeback. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So like I said, mainly, it is a focus on yesterday's ball game and taking the positives from splitting the series. Now, granted, you have to go to Citi Field against the Mets. You have to find a way to win a series against the Mets because we all know last year we did not win a single series. We did not win a single series against the New York Mets last season, and that was painful. Very painful to watch. And now that you're seeing the NL East less times this year, I believe it's 2 less series per team, it's even more, escalated. It's more focused on these series against your division. And this is your first time playing the Braves. You split the first series, 4 games, and now this will be your first time playing the New York Mets. The Mets, I believe they lost the series in Colorado. I believe they played there, if I'm looking at the Mets currently. So I'm going to look at just the Mets in their last 10 games just to see how they've been faring. The Mets currently, yes, they lost 2 games in Colorado so far. They are 6-4 in their last 10. They are exactly 500 at 27-27. They're 15 and away on the road. They're 12-9 at home in Citi Field. So they obviously haven't played as many games at home. But looking at the Mets overall, so looking at their last couple of games, they lost the series in Chicago against the Cubs, and they lost the series against the Rockies in Colorado. But they did win they did sweep the Guardians in a series at home. They won a series against the Rays, split a series against the Nationals. So they've basically been up and down the past couple of weeks. A lot of highs, a lot of very lows. So why not? Let's continue the lows. But if we're looking at just this series with the Mets upcoming, just to see what the pitching matchups are going to be like, I'm assuming it's going to be Ranger Suarez, Aaron Nola, and Taijuan Walker. That's what I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I'm not even looking at it yet. Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be Ranger Suarez on Tuesday, which is going to be a TBS game, but I'm assuming it's also going to be on NBC Sports Philadelphia. 7:10 start. And then, so Ranger Suarez, he's going up against Kodai Senga. Kodai Senga is 4-3 with a 3.94 ERA, a 1.52 whip. In his last couple of outings, he had a dominant performance against the Tampa Bay Rays, 6 innings and 12 strikeouts. Did not pitch well against the Cincinnati Reds. He allowed 5 earned runs there. Did not pitch well against the Chicago Cubs. Only pitched 5 innings, allowed 3 earned runs. So he's basically been very up and down for the Mets. 2 earned runs, 0 earned runs, 5 earned runs, 1 earned run, 3 earned runs. So it's basically been 1 good start, 1 bad start, 1 good start, 1 bad start. And I guess that's probably the expectation from a guy coming over from Japan. So I guess he's still adjusting to Major League Baseball. But still, when he is dominant, he is very dominant. His splitter is no joke. Then it's going to be Aaron Nola going up against Carlos Carrasco. Carlos Carrasco is 1-2 at a 6.75 ERA, 1.42 whip. Looking at his last couple of games, his best game so far was against the Chicago Cubs, the only game the Mets won in that series. He went 6 2/3 innings, allowed 1 earned run, struck out 4. But then looking at his past couple of starts, 5 innings against the Guardians, 5 earned runs, 6 earned runs, 5 earned runs, 2 earned runs. So he's basically been very bad this year. So we really need to get on top of that. Aaron Nola is going to be the one facing him. And then Thursday afternoon, it's going to be Taijuan Walker going up against his former team when Max Scherzer is on the mound. He is 4-2 with a 3.54 ERA. Looking at his past couple of outings, he's been very good, actually, after a really shaky start. His past 3 outings, 1 earned run, 0 earned runs, 1 earned run. In those 3 starts, he also did allow 0 earned runs to the Dodgers, but he was shortened in that game. It looks like only 3 innings there. I wonder why. I guess because he was just coming off of injury, so I guess they were keeping his innings limit down low. So, yeah, 7 innings against Colorado. They won that game. That was their only win in that series. 6 innings against the Guardians. So, Max Scherzer, he's going to be Max Scherzer. He's always going to be very difficult to deal with. So that's going to be your pitching matchup in New York. And then after that, you'll play the Washington Nationals for the first time this year. Zack Wheeler, no name who's ever going to pitch in between Zack Wheeler and Ranger Suarez. They'll be going up against Josiah Gray, Mackenzie Gore, and Trevor Williams. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a interesting week of Phillies baseball upcoming. Got to get some wins here, especially against your division, because after this stretch of the next 6 games on the road, you're coming back home for 6 games against Detroit and Los Angeles, the Dodgers, that is. And then you're going back on the road again for a 4-game series in Arizona and the Oakland Athletics for 3 games. So, yeah, joy. West Coast games again. West Coast games again. And then after those series, on the West Coast, you're back home against the Braves and the Mets again. So, you're going to be seeing the NL East a lot more frequently in the upcoming months, especially getting closer to the All-Star break. And if I look at the second half schedule, because why not, after the All-Star break, you'll see the West more, the Central more, the AL more. Because look at some of the teams that you're facing coming out of the second half. 4 games at home after the All-Star break against the Padres, 3 against the Brewers, 3 in Cleveland, 3 at home against Baltimore, 3 in Pittsburgh, 4 in Miami, actually. 3 at home against Kansas City, 4 at home against Washington, 3 at home against Minnesota, 2 in Toronto, 3 in Washington, or actually 2 in Washington, and 1 of those is the Little League World Series game in Williamsport. 3 at home against San Francisco, 3 at home against St. Louis, blah, 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 the rest of the schedule. So you play the Mets this upcoming week, and then you'll play them at the end of June as well, and then you don't see the Mets again until September. So yeah, you're not going to be seeing the Mets as much. We all know with the new schedule. So like I said, yeah, you're seeing the Mets this upcoming week to start June and at the end of June before July starts. And then you won't see them again until September. So got to get the wins where they matter against this New York Mets team. So yeah, Phillies got a series split. That's what they did. That's all that matters, because the Braves, they're in the bottom of the 8th inning right now. They got a runner on first and third base. Who is the pitcher for the Phillies currently? I'm not even focusing on that. I don't think we had the dreaded position player on the mound. The Phillies just got out of that inning, though. So going to the top of the 9th inning, this game is over. So, yeah. This game is most definitely over. Phillies get a series split. So, looking at some of you guys in the comment section right here, it's like I said, it still feels very weird that we're not going to see any Phillies on Memorial Day. Maybe that's better for our sanities, but it doesn't feel right, in my opinion. Just doesn't. So, yeah, definitely. So, looking at some of you guys up here, sad that you put in the fact that we lost, that it's not even over yet, shows how inconsistent we are. Yep. I just saw it right from the get-go, that first inning. Yep, this game was over. I was talking to one of my buddies. I said, this game is probably over. He said, still plenty of baseball left. And then the other runs happened. I'm saying, you sure? He said, never mind. Never mind. Bucket getter, every time we're on ESPN, we struggle. Yeah, national TV does that to us. Will the Braves ever be bad in our lifetime? And then Bucket getter says, and yet they only have 1 championship. The Braves are just a well-run organization. That's what they are. They're always going to, pop up good prospects, and they always have, criminally low contracts, extensions for their good players. Like, seriously, it's criminal what they're doing. How they get their good players on such cheap contracts. Mets are struggling this year. A lot of teams are struggling this year. Phillies are no different. They got to find a way to beat this team. Corey doesn't fear the Mets. Scherzer might be close to being washed. Hopefully. Phillies Mets rivalry has been pretty good from BJ. What year did the Phillies Mets rivalry start? I'm assuming it started like when the Mets first came into the league. I would assume. It probably didn't take more focus until like the 2000s. With our 2000, all those stuff when the Mets were choking the division and the Phillies found a way to steal it. I feel like that's when it got more prioritized, but I'm sure they've always been rivals. I don't think it's been like, it's like just a recent thing. I thought a team could be more frustrating than the Sixers than the Phillies started playing. Yeah, with the Sixers ending, the Phillies, they got to show us something. So far, it's been very either pain, joy, or very mixed bag. Mostly pain. Mostly pain. Very few joy. Very few joy. Probably more pain and mixed bag. So, yeah, that's probably why. That's probably more accurate, I would say. Definitely. So, yeah. I think that's probably a good spot to leave off, too. Like I said, you get a series split. I'll focus on the positives from Zack Wheeler's fantastic start yesterday. I'm going to ignore this game that just happened and throw it in the garbage because Dylan Kobe going up against the Atlanta Braves, that was a scheduled loss, in my opinion, especially when the other pitcher on the side was Spencer Strider. And I'm sure he was feeling some type of animosity from Game 3 in the NLDS. I remember those days as a 7-year-old Mets fan. Phillies versus Mets was good in 07 and 08. Oh, yeah, those series were crazy. I was like 9 at the time. 9, 8 years old at the time when those were happening. I was 10 when the Phillies won that World Series. Yeah, so I was probably like 9 at the time when those series were happening. So, yeah, good times. Good times. But knowing me, definitely, with these Mets series, especially if the Phillies lose, I'm going to get a bunch of Mets fans that are going to annoy the hell out of me. But I do have some Mets subscribers like you, BJ, that are nice in my chat. But, hey, all for views, why not? But hopefully, we can find a way to get a Phillies win here. Well, in the series against the Mets. Because they desperately need a series win against the Mets just to get some people confidence here. Seriously. You lost literally every series against the Mets last year. And it really started when you blew that 7-1 lead in the 9th inning. Last year. Remember that? Why do I keep bringing up pain? It's like when I'm constantly remembering the goddamn no-hitter in Game 4 of the World Series. Seriously. Why do I keep remembering this shit? Because you know why? I like pain, apparently. I like pain and I like suffering. Ugh. Jesus. So, before I bring up any more goddamn painful memories, I think it's a good time to end it off here. I think it's a very good time. So, who knows? Are we getting City Connect jerseys this year? I don't think so. Probably next year, I would assume. But that's the least thing on my mind. But, yeah, I would assume next year. I don't think these MLB announced that the Phillies are getting any this year. So, yeah. So, it's going to do it for tonight, everybody. Just a little quick update on the Phillies here. Series split. Taking on the positives. Throwing away this last game. And moving on to the Mets. So, thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. I like to see those as always. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to check out everything in the description down below. I like to see those. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Don't forget to check out or hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. Join the TTP Sports family. I very much appreciate it. Also, use the code TTP Sports, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Hopefully, everyone has a nice Memorial Day tomorrow. Hopefully everyone's has been enjoying their Memorial Day weekend. So, yeah. Hopefully everyone enjoys that tomorrow. BJ, don't remind me about the goddamn 7-run lead. Painful. I said I'm closing out on less painful memories. Okay. Everyone enjoy Memorial Day tomorrow. I'll see ya. Good night.